If you love these episodes that I do, I'm so glad, first of all, because I love doing them. For many years, I've had such a passion for sharing my knowledge, my expertise, my experiences in order to help businesses. And there's nothing more rewarding than helping someone reach their goals. And sometimes that means making great strides in their systems and processes. Sometimes it's helping them go from a lot of steps that takes a lot of time and getting that down to 4 or 5 steps that's much more manageable, especially if you're a solopreneur. I have such a passion for helping wedding professionals with my IT and marketing background. I've just really found that I can make such an impact for those individuals who a lot of times have to be focused just on events and the office work, the paperwork, that type of stuff, the back office work has not had a lot of time or attention dedicated to it because wedding professionals and event professionals have hit the ground running. And even though we went through a slower period for event professionals when the pandemic hit, it sent everybody spiraling in different directions. Now, there are some individuals out there who utilize that time to fine tune their business, to really figure out what they wanted in their future. And they dedicated some of that downtime to implementing systems and processes and other things in their business to make it run more smoothly. There's a lot of people who did not know what direction to go, what to do, what did the future hold. There was so many uncertainties that working on your business just seemed nearly impossible. And now where we are at has opened up so many opportunities for growth for wedding professionals and those that specialize in events. And the reason I go back and forth on saying wedding professionals or event professionals is because of how much the corporate and school activities have picked up coming through this pandemic. And the reason that I'm talking about this topic, what topic is that? You may be asking. Well, I believe this topic really comes down to growth or growth opportunities. And that is exactly where I find myself and my team. And to be honest with you, it's taken me a little bit to process everything. So many wonderful opportunities and being pulled in a few different directions. Blessed is how I would summarize it. But for those out there that are listening, especially if you're in the wedding industry, you may be able to resonate with what I'm sharing with you. It can seem overwhelming with different growth possibilities in your business. Sometimes it's hard to see what's happening or what is getting ready to transpire because you have so much going on. You're doing good to go day to day. And for those of you that do not have a team yet, it can seem damn near impossible to think about or focus anything on the future because you're working from event to event. And the reason that I bring this topic up is, as I mentioned, that is exactly where I find myself. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful team. One of my team members is actually my husband. And we have been very blessed for a number of years in our business, most of which has been referral based. And for our listeners out there that do not know, we own a digital marketing company, and we do a lot of done for you services for small businesses, quite a few of which are in the wedding industry. And where I have aligned myself in business is niching down to help those in the event and wedding space. Just as I mentioned when I first started, I really feel pulled in that direction with my background, with what I hear on a very regular basis from wedding professionals. I know my skill set applied to those businesses in systems, processes, lead generation. I really say from onboarding to offboarding can be probably more impactful than I even realize. And in working with quite a few wedding professionals over the past few months, specifically in this space, from onboarding to offboarding, I've really found a passion for it. And I think that's because of what a difference it makes for those businesses. And I love podcasting. I love teaching. I love speaking. I'll do it virtually, but there's nothing like in person. And where we're at right now is a great place that to be able to talk about this, and there are many growth opportunities at my feet, at my team's feet. And it's a great place to be because some people don't have the opportunities, don't have an opportunity to embrace something and decide on the path you're going or on a growth opportunity. Most of the time, changes, additions, those types of things are made because of something negative or something bad happening. And for us, that is not the case. And I'm so thankful to be where I'm at. And I need to take a pause for just a few weeks in order to spend the time that's necessary to get things in place for the next phase. Now, if you enjoy these podcast episodes, you're in luck because I'm far from giving up on podcasting. It is a passion of mine, and it's something that I see myself doing for a long time. So for those wedding professionals listening or in the event industry, and to be honest, I hear from other businesses that tell me, I know that you say that this is geared toward those in the event industry. I listen, and I'm able to take something, most of the time more than one thing, out of each episode. So for all of you that are listening that enjoy bite-sized, digestible content that provides you at least one thing that you can immediately implement in your business. If you like those type of episodes that I've been doing, you're in luck because they are not going away. And I think this was an important topic to share with my audience because I have a lot of conversations with wedding professionals that feel that it's hard to pause, that it's hard to take a week without events, or maybe it's 2 weeks without events, just to dedicate that time to their business. And I'm here to share with you, it's 1000% okay to take a pause and do whatever it is you need to do in your business. If you have a brick and mortar, maybe you need to do some renovations. Maybe you are in the catering aspect and you want to make some menu changes, but you can't do it because of everything going on with events. Maybe you're a DJ and you want to upgrade your equipment, but you're going from one end of the spectrum to another, and you want to be able to know exactly how to operate that equipment and be 100% confident in yourself when you go and you set up at an event. A photographer, maybe you're restructuring your business to niche down in your industry, but it's hard to do when you're still booking events and let's be honest, those in the event industry, anytime that you have a growth opportunity or need to make a change for any reason or an addition, when you want to pause or you want to have a little time to focus on it, sometimes you have to plan ahead. There are no options for you because you're booking clients 12, 18 months, maybe even 2 years in advance. And this is why conversations that I have with people, wedding professionals especially, they're so excited about embracing new processes or new procedures or new pricing. The list goes on and on. But where do you implement it? Where do you find time to implement those changes? Or if you're adding something on, how does that get into the fold? How does that get into the mix of your business? And that takes planning ahead. Just recently, I've had conversations, I don't even remember how many, at least 3 or 4 professionals that are going to be changing their pricing. They've thought about it. They've talked about it. They've considered it. They're kind of know about where they want to be or need to be, but they haven't pulled the trigger. Well, here lies the problem. If you don't go ahead and make a decision and implement it, and you're already booked for a year and a half out, those changes, that new pricing isn't going to take effect for a year and a half. Now, if you're making changes that affect your deposits and you're going to book people over the next few months, of course, that would change that some. My whole point in this is to share with you when opportunities knock, it is worth evaluating where you started, where you're at, and where do you want to go. There are many times I personally have overlooked things, have opportunities were there, but you just kept up with the daily grind. And I see it happening in front of my face for wedding professionals. And that is what has really driven me to say, you know what? This entire podcast, this whole podcast journey has opened up so many doors. I've met so many amazing people that I didn't even know that I now call my friends. I've had the opportunity and have the opportunity in the future to work with several different organizations. And I just have been able to process everything and say, you know what? I need a minute to really put in place some different pieces that I've wanted to do for 6 months or maybe more, but had not made it a priority. And in order to do so I can better serve my target audience of event and wedding professionals, I'm going to pause for just a few weeks on what we call Business Booster Monday episodes that are mainly geared towards wedding professionals, and allow myself and my team to plan and structure the next phase of that Business Booster Monday in order to better service that audience. And gosh, just saying that, I kind of got goat chills. And it's different when you allow yourself that space, when you make yourself a priority. Wow. What an amazing experience. And I share that in saying, I think it lies out there for a lot of my listeners. We just don't always pause long enough to process what's happening right here, right now. We're not able to work on future endeavors or have the opportunity to structure our business better for future opportunities because we're so involved in what's happening day in and day out in our businesses. Someone once said to me, as a matter of fact, they were a guest on the podcast for me on a Monday episode. It's like being inside of a jar trying to read the outside label. Now think about that for a minute. If you're constantly in the jar, how can you see the outside label? The same person also said that if you're constantly in the maze, and I'm summarizing, so this isn't word for word, if you're constantly in the maze at that ground level, just in the maze, you can't really see what's going on in the maze. You're just trying to find the way out. But if you had a ladder and you got up just a little bit, just a few feet, the perspective that you can see, you can take it all in. That to me really hit home a couple months ago, and it has really stuck with me. And I'm very fortunate. I do not at all take for granted how far we have come with this podcast, with our business, with the impact we've made and continue to make on a daily basis. I do not do that alone. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful team. And I'm so thankful to call most of our clients my friends. It's a family. I've said many times community over competition. I'm a very firm believer in that. And to be honest with you, I really think that's a driving force in what has put me in the position that I'm in right now. A fabulous position. One that I'm going to embrace, that I am going to apply the time the right way. And you definitely want to stay tuned. You will want to know and be part of the next phase. So, with that being said, first of all, a couple things. If you do not already follow me on Instagram, I encourage you to do so. You can find me Kristina Stubblefield _ on Instagram. There'll be a link in the show notes. If you are not part of our email marketing list, our email list, you will want to join that list. That way you can be notified of what's coming. There'll be a link again in the show notes. Also, I want to give you a little something, a freebie, of course, to be able to utilize in your business over these next few weeks. Since you're not going to be able to hear something from me over these next few Mondays, I want you to be able to have something that you can apply in your business. And you can get the link to that in the show notes. I encourage you to take advantage of it. It is free, and it will have information in there that will help you over these next few weeks. I care so much that I didn't want to take this pause without there being something out there that you can utilize, since you will not be able to hear these episodes. But I promise it is definitely going to be worth it. And if you catch the video of this, you can probably see just how passionate I am. Maybe you can tell in my voice, but I'm really excited for this next phase. I love where we started. I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed the journey. Gosh, I'm extremely excited about the future. And what a wonderful place to be in business. And I hope that by sharing this experience and what we're about to embark on will help you in some way, shape, or form in your business. So make sure to follow me on Instagram. As I mentioned, the other links, if you're not on our email list, I encourage you to do so you'll be notified. Or as I just mentioned, the freebie is available in the show notes. So stay tuned, keep working on those businesses, and you want to know what's coming. Everybody, take care.